There are more problems for U.S. President Barack Obama's eavesdropping program. The Washington Post reports that the National Security Agency appears to have overstepped its legal authority thousands of times a year since 2008. That's when the U.S. Congress granted it new powers. As CCTV's Anand Naidoo reports, this directly contradicts statements that President Obama made at a recent White House news conference.
America is not interested in spying on ordinary people. Our intelligence is focused above all on finding the information that's necessary to protect our people and, in many cases, protect our allies.
That was President Barack Obama a week ago. Obama said the U.S. government didn't abuse its authority by eavesdropping on U.S. citizens or reading their emails. They're not abused, he said. Those abuses would be against the law. Now, new revelations published in the Washington Post show the NSA has been monitoring emails and phone calls of ordinary Americans. The report says the searches may have been unintentional when it collected data on foreign nationals. The NSA has no way to filter out communications by Americans, a defense that was corroborated by U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California, chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. In a statement released on Friday, Feinstein called most of the alleged NSA violations, quote, roaming incidents in which the NSA is collecting the phone or electronic communications of a non-American outside the United States, and that person then enters the United States without the NSA's knowledge. But the NSA also instructed its analysts to be deliberately vague if they were asked why they targeted a particular individual. One of those instructions was to use short sentences and avoid details like names or supporting information. There were also cases where the NSA kept documents even after a court had ordered them destroyed. The Washington Post based its reporting on documents provided by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. The NSA says the problem was related to what it termed one highly technical aspect, and that it had strengthened privacy protections for Americans once the issue had been identified. These latest revelations are expected to reinforce calls for more accountability at the NSA. The United States Congress is already looking at reforming laws that govern the agency's surveillance programs. Anand Naidoo, CCTV, Washington.
I want to bring in a man who used to work for the National Security Agency, Bill Sewell. And Bill, there's that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. In light of this report, is the NSA being responsible with its programs?
Well, I think it is being responsible. I saw the headline in the Washington Post, and it was a shocking headline, but I think it was crafted to be shocking. And it reported that 2,776 violations had occurred over the last year. It's important to understand that when court orders or executive orders or laws are promulgated to the intelligence community, countless procedures and processes are put into place, written down and put into place. So any violation of any one of the steps along the way in these processes and procedures gets counted and it gets reported. An errant keystroke, an operator asking the computer for a piece of information and getting some unexpected result. So I think that the severity of the implication in the Washington Post headline is quite overstated, quite overblown.
Well, we heard just a short time ago in Anand's piece, we heard from U.S. President Barack Obama. I want to play you something else that he said and get your reaction on the other side.
Okay.
I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference, and I think the American people's preference, would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws, a thoughtful, fact-based debate.
Now, Bill, some are asking the question, if the president really did want all the facts out there in public, then why not reveal this information about misused technology?
Well, a lot of the information that has come to light after Snowden was classified at the time that the reviews were done of the various programs. And so these things at the time couldn't come to light. Of course, they are coming to light now. And I think as we find out more, I hope that the American people will realize that the government really doesn't care what an insurance agent in Arkansas does with his day or who he talks to on the phone. They're really looking for the bad guys. They're looking for the terrorists and doing everything they can to stop them.
You were talking about some of these errors earlier. The number just sounds startling. Now, the report claims that these incidents were unpreventable, a result of human error. So, is the NSA not hiring the right people, or are they just not being trained properly? Did you ever see any kind of errors during your time there?
Well, there are often errors simply because the processes, the computer programs are very complex. And when you start to look at some of the kinds of information that's gathered, the NSA basically vacuums up every electronic signal in space. And there's nothing to tell a computer that this particular signal is protected by privacy and this other one is not. So as the analysts are sorting through these various communications and various signals, it's not uncommon for a small mistake to be made. But then there are procedures in place that once that happens, that violation is mitigated. The information is destroyed or it's otherwise taken out of play. So I'm again not that concerned that some of these things are happening.
It does sound dire, though, because in the regular world, if someone breaks the rules or oversteps their legal authority, they have to answer to any to consequences. So in this case, do you anticipate that the NSA will have to face any consequences at all?
I don't know about consequences as an agency. I know that individual people who work at various intelligence agencies are scrutinized very heavily. If you are found to be doing something nefarious, you can lose your clearance, which means you lose your job and won't likely get another job in that agency. And so your career is over. So I don't know what kind of punishment, if you want to call it that, could be meted out against the NSA as an agency, but certainly I think Congress will take a hard look at their processes and their procedures to make sure that they're the right ones.
All right, Bill Sewell joining us live from Los Angeles. As always, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.